It's really hard to describe exactly how it feels because if I think back to my previous work, it operated in a very narrow band. And this is so different from day to day.
Today we sat down with several founding partners of Unity Advisory to discuss the early stages of the business, why Unity Advisory is different and what they're proud of so far.
There's a real need in the industry, like kind of amongst other professionals, for something different.
The empowerment that's there is real, and it's quite infectious. There's almost this flywheel of creativity happening. It really just is this this infectious enthusiasm to create.
I think CFOs, finance functions, front office kind of businesses need a different approach. I think they need a different approach, and I think that we can bring that.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to be joined by several of the founding partners of Unity Advisory this afternoon. I don't know if you could just briefly tell us who you are and what you do, please.
Sure. So I'll start. I'm Pippa Dussuyer, I guess firstly we're all one team, which is brilliant. So I don't even have to say I'm from this part of the firm or I'm from that part of the firm. So that's refreshing from the outset. But what I focus on is commercial transformation. So that's front office, but very linked to finance transformation into CFOs and chief commercial officers.
And I'm Dean Farthing. Similarly, we don't have to, that is really refreshing,
Really
not have to say, and I'm from this part and I do that. But what I focus is on tax, and particularly around incentives and employment tax.
And I'm Carolyn Cole, and I work with CFOs and their teams to help them modernise and digitise their functions.
Super. So you've all joined Unity at a really early stage, really exciting part of the journey. How does it feel so far?
I'll take that first then. So it's really hard to describe exactly how it feels because if I think back to my previous life work, it operated in a very narrow band. And this is so different from day to day. If I go back to first seeing the office actually being built, we had no carpet. There was, and now we walk in. There's desks. There are people, lots of people doing great things, and you get such an amazing high off of seeing that and seeing what they do on a day-to-day basis. There's new things happening all the time. It's really fun.
I like that. Fun would be my main word. It's fun. Yeah. It's daunting as anything, but it's fun, and I think it's an incredible learning journey. There's that. I mean, just in the time I've joined and the journey up to joining, the learning journey around just the leap in terms of kind of embracing like real AI, but embracing a completely horizontal collaborative culture, and then just learning about yourself as well, kind of learning more about your peers. So yeah, I'd say fun and there we go.
I'll finish with liberated. I feel very liberated. I feel very privileged to be part of this at the very beginning. I think that is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Totally.
And feel very privileged about that. And I'm enjoying the ride. Like there's so much to do, and every day is different. And I think what I love the most is most of my time is spent with clients, talking to clients, working with clients, thinking about client problems. Yep. I'm not being distracted by some of the distractions,
the noise of the bigger machine.
The noise from a bigger machine that don't add any value to clients or to ourselves personally.
And decision making is so quick. Yeah. So when we want things done, there's processes, but the processes are short, and it's really focused on what is the need for the client for this, and you demonstrate this is why we need it, and it's okay, how do we make that work? Mm-hmm. Yep. Very, very much, how do you just make things work?
Yeah. I do like the honest debate as well. There is some
lots of that. Yes.
Very healthy. I say very helpful, respectful, but passionate debates. I think amongst our teams, and actually the environment is it welcomes that because we all want something different. from this experience and this opportunity, and actually I'm enjoying that part of the environment.
Obviously, very different environment to maybe those that you've been in previously and grown up in. Is there anything else that's really surprised you since joining Unity?
I think there's maybe two things. I pleasantly surprised, because I wouldn't have joined if I didn't think these things would both come out eventually. But I think the first is the genuine excitement from clients, that real embracing. We still have a huge amount to prove, right? No doubt. But that real embracing of our philosophy, of the way that we show up, of our expertise, of how we've embraced technology. So I think that kind of real genuine, even just looking at, just watching clients react and saying, that is what we've been missing. And so I think, that's the first thing. And then the second thing would be just the energy from the teams. Yeah. I mean, we've got a lot of energy. We're having a lot of fun. But the teams who've joined us as well, they are, and you talk about kind of decision making, and the empowerment that's there is real. And it's quite infectious. There's almost this flywheel of creativity happening. And I'm sure you'll hear from a lot of them later, but it really just is this kind of this infectious enthusiasm to create products, to create flows that make, that just drive at real outcomes for clients. So that's been cool to see.
Yeah. Just picking up that client's piece, it's been, you hope you've got relationships with people that they would want to help you. And I've just been pleasantly surprised by the number of people who really ask, how can I help you? This is really interesting what you're doing. How can I help you? Who can I introduce you to? And here's what I think about sort of what you're doing. So helping us to shape our thinking with some real honest feedback, but coming from a place of, we want you to succeed.
Yeah.
And it's been, that's really good.
Yeah. And I think also that honesty is so important, because it works both ways. We're really inviting honest feedback from anyone who'll give it to us, which is great. But there's a real, to pick up your point about being liberated, there's a real liberated honesty for us. When we are responding to clients' requests, we are not leaning on kind of a crutch of case studies of this is work that we've done. Everyone recognizes we all bring deep collective expertise, but as a team, this is we're new, and so being able to be really honest about that, to say this is what we collectively bring, this is who we are, and this is where we're learning, is really refreshing. There's no pretense, and I think that's probably been the biggest change.
And I think what I was surprised about the most just was the level of interest from talent. So we've all worked in a lot of places. We've all been in the industry and doing these things for a long time. So collectively, we know a lot of really, really good people, but they're really, really good, and they've got, they were very, doing very well where they were. But actually, there was a real
interest.
Need in the industry, like kind of amongst other professionals, for something different professionally, and and I was really that for me was again self rewarding, that we've made the right choice, because it's not just us, it's actually there's a whole plethora of professional people that are looking for something different, and I was quite surprised initially by that.
I think it's that thing we all went into this, or certainly I did, thinking this is the right time to do this from an industry perspective. It seems the right opportunity in terms of the leadership, the backing for it. And then when you get that validation with people, we'll put out a LinkedIn post saying we're hiring this, and the recruitment team just get a flood of people coming through.
Exactly.
And we only now get to see the people that they've sifted through. And you go, wow, these are really good people. I'm glad I'm not applying with them, because sort of I'd hire them.
You wait till they watch this.
Absolutely, absolutely. But the talent that is coming through, and the people we've not been able to hire yet, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, super. For any of you, was there a real sort of pin drop moment where you thought, actually, yes, I've got to join these guys?
So I went through. I was looking at a number of other opportunities, and I had a way of thinking through where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do.
Not a spreadsheet.
Not. It was there in a digital format that was available for me to reflect on. I had a coach who I was talking to, and she said to me, "Where would you regret? Like, which opportunity would you regret not doing?" And instantly I said, "Well, that one." I mean, there was, whilst there was here's what I wanted to do, and it was just, this opportunity was so different and so appealing, and possibly won't happen again. Certainly in my career. And so there was just that crystallization moment of, well, yes, it's that.
Yeah. I think for me, it was selfishely what opportunity is going to keep me relevant, because I kept where I was before Unity. All this AI technology was out there. I wasn't using it myself, and it wasn't until I joined Unity that my application of AI increased dramatically. To self-preservation situation. But it was for me, it was where will I go next that's going to keep me relevant, that's going to put me on a really exponential learning curve, and push me out of my comfort zone. And this was it.
We've heard about sort of the challenger brand, the investment, etc. What is it that you genuinely think you can do differently?
I've been thinking about this a lot, actually, because it is multifaceted, and it's and all the things that have been focused on in the media are they're all relevant, right? So there's some phenomenal expertise in our sort of founding leaders. There's the very strong investment backing and the credibility that comes with that. There's this focus on being AI native, not AI retrofitted, and all of those things contribute to us being different. But I think the thing that makes the biggest amount of difference is our very, very deliberate culture. And if you reflect on all the stories, the reasons why we've joined, and as Carolyn mentioned, kind of some of that healthy tension in the beginning was just this collective, strong focus that this needs to be different, and it needs to be built differently in order to deliver something that is much more valuable to the market. And that culture comes through it's just getting rid of any sense of factious or siloed behaviors, huge degrees of collaboration, single P&L, so that what we're doing is we're collectively solving clients' problems. And our use of AI it's just innate, right? It's everywhere. We all, we have to use it, we want to use it, we love to use it. But what that actually does is that it elevates the expertise. It gives us so much more time to spend on client problems. And so I think it's the culture and the intent.
It's that culture piece. When we first got together, we spent more time thinking about the culture that we wanted to have for the business than anything else. And everyone who contributed to that was we was on broadly the same page, but it was then often culture, you get some great words, but what does it really mean? How does that come to life? And we did talk about how we would make it real. And one of the things that has been really good from my perspective is that's really easy to do when there's 10, 12, 15 of you. Now we're up to 65. We've maintained that. And I think, if anything, it's got better because we're doing it more, and it's there on a day-to-day basis, and it really is lived. And that piece around sort of the no silos is really, for me, is one of the most important parts of that.
We've just worked on that. I think there's two things for me with the tech enablement and the breaking down the silos and the collaboration. Like we responded to a proposal, Pippa and myself, and one of our other partners who's a technology implementation partner, we responded within 24 hours to a proposal. And in the past, that which wouldn't have been heard of, and there would have been so much debate about who was owning the revenue target, who would be sharing the revenue. It would be so much conversation around that, and not about what does the client need, and how do we bring our collective skill sets together to make it really impactful, and how do we do that really quickly so that we can respond to the 24 hours they've given us, and we would never have done that in our past. So for me, that is. We just lived through that like very, very recently, and that for me is really special. And I was really proud of that.
It is partnership in the truest sense of the word, and I think that makes a massive difference.
AI native. There's a lot of AI hype at the moment. AI is bolted onto everything. Can you tell me what does that mean? Or AI born is another phrase that I've heard sort of thrown around. So what does it mean?
I think AI is it's here, right? And it's here to stay. And it's a fundamental shift in the way that the whole professional, services industry needs to work and needs to adopt it. I think there's probably sort of two parts to that question. I think sort of AI native versus AI retrofitted comes back to that point of culture and silos. One of the most interesting things that AI does is it actually really exposes how an organization works versus how you think an organization works. Because it shows you which teams don't talk to each other, which data doesn't flow into systems like that. It's a real lesson in organizational honesty. And trying to retrofit AI into an organization that is already factiously siloed is an uphill battle. It's like wading through treacle. And we've given ourselves a phenomenal platform not to have to do that by virtue of the fact that we're brand new. Yep. So AI native means that we are, we're not only building AI into the makeup of what we are. So it's not even in a way, it's not even a thing. Like our teams just use it so fluently that it's not a thing. It's an enabler to just make us quicker, faster, stronger in the market. And I think that's kind of the main difference is that it's plugged in right from the beginning, but it's also plugged into to a culture that is so intentionally joined up to avoid us needing to retrofit at a later stage.
So if I compare and contrast how I do things today than in the past. So in the past, a project would come in, you talk to the team, and the conversation would go along the lines of, it's a bit like the project we did, you remember when? It's different.
We never said that.
It's different because of... I'm terrible. So it's different because of A, B, and C. And if you get that report and that report, that probably gives you the starter for... Whereas something comes in today, and the first thought that you have is... how are we going to get this done quicker? Where can we apply the technology to help us do that? And how can we get more insight? So you start off from a completely different place. And because of the team, someone will come up with, I think we can do, I saw this on I was chatting to somebody who worked with Pippa, and they did this on that. And so... they chat with them, and someone that has spun up a proof of concept that enables us to do something which I think I can do things in half an hour now. That used to take me 5 hours. And it's sort of just because we had the conversation, and one of the team went, I know how to do that. And next thing, they've spun it up, you check it, it works.
Yeah.
It's there.
And it's also just the transparency. I mean, one of the simple things we've done is a product that helps us internally around, we're constantly going to different client meetings. And it's a product whereby we can voice download the outcomes of those meetings. That is disseminated and crystallized into interesting points, action points, and then everyone in the firm is able to refer to those. So getting up to speed is not a thing anymore. Everyone is always up to speed.
And we're taking it next level. We're actually then using that insight to actually collate what our CFO is telling us collectively, because in the
Exactly.
past, and it's actually then we're using that intelligence for our CRM campaigns. It's actually linked into our CRM system. It's incredible.
That piece of product, that product took 20 minutes to design, deliver one Friday afternoon, and we rolled it out. It's moved on several versions since, but it was rolled out really quickly, and now it's better. I'm sure 6 months time it will look quite different and such forth. And it's that sort of, you get something, you get it to work, you refine it. Where I came from before, things were delivered, X months later, they were perfect for 6 months ago, and the world has moved on.
So
And again, I think just culturally, what that means is that teams are not reliant on a partner giving them the time of day to download the meetings that they were in, right? Because then you often get in sort of other larger firms, I think quite an unfair sense of information dissemination. It's often about proximity or it's about luck. And that removes that from us. And all of our teams are constantly better informed, which means that it takes presumption out and assumption out. And we all know what, happens when you do too much of that. And just we're better informed, which means that our clients get better value.
And culturally, culturally, it's transparency. So things are, the assumption is information is available to all. Certain circumstances where it can't be, but it's you don't have power because you hold information.
No.
So critical.
I think the only thing I'd like to just finish when it comes to AI native, for me, it's not about having, and we have a fantastic AI factory that come with incredible skills around building products and things, but actually for us it's not about having a COE on the side. It's actually our people, everyone in the business are developing and leaning into using this technology and building it around problem statements for ourselves in terms of how we deliver our services and have more of an impact when we're delivering with our clients, but also specific products around client problems that we believe are going to be really impactful. What we're not doing is passing all of that onto a COE to say off you go and create us something. We're building it up to a point of kind of proof of concept, and then very quickly, so kind of fail fast. But then if we need that additional kind of real techie skill set it's there, and it's being used wisely.
And that's one of the things we learned early on, was that the best way to get information out of our heads onto how do things work, so how do you think through a problem, was to get that proof of concept spun up. And by doing that got the sort of the technical content that we have around how you solve problems into a way that our product and AI factory could understand, so that's what you do. And then they could say, we've seen that problem elsewhere, so here's a really good way of solving that. But it sped up that process. Whereas if you had written down I want to do this, I want to do that, and sort of tried to describe it to them in a process way, that would have taken much longer. And we learnt that really quickly.
Super. Looking forward then, and I'm sure we'll get more into the detail of some of those topics and products, etc., in future discussions. But what are you most excited about looking forward over the next couple of years at UA?
So I think the opportunity for us is huge. The reason we exist is to serve those complex, ambitious mid-tier organisations, and I genuinely don't think that there is somebody doing it in the way that we do it at the moment. And so it's you look at that market and you think there's going to be some really interesting jobs there, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think for me it is, I mean, obviously, the growth is fun. We've grown so far. I think the as you said, the potential and the growth that comes with that is hugely exciting. I think I'm really looking forward to clients seeing the value, and those outcomes being proof points, and then that just kind of feeding our model and feeding our growth, and not just for us. I genuinely hope this becomes a catalyst for change across the industry, because it is it's great to be at the forefront of that, and it's desperately needed.
Yeah, I'm excited just to I think for me, to Pippa's point, I think that the industry needs a change. I think CFOs, finance functions, front office kind of businesses need a different approach. I think they need a different approach, and I think that we can bring that, and I'm very excited to be working with clients and making a difference. I think making a difference.
I can imagine in 5 years' time looking back and saying, do you remember when we used to do that like that?
I know.
And scratching our heads and saying, really? Yes, we used to do it that way, because it's moved on.
Yeah,
but I think to the first point, fun. I'm really enjoying myself.
It's a lot of fun.
It's very chaotic and it's very it's intense. But I am having a lot of fun, and I'm just looking forward to continuing.
I think you'll find it structured fun.
Oh
not
yeah,
chaotic.
exactly. and I think finally, it's also just I already see, I feel like our teams just walk a little taller around the office, because they are developing and creating stuff every day. There's a real sense of pride, ownership, enablement, and I'm looking forward to that continuing. I think they will be far better partners than we ever have been or will be, because they've got the privilege of growing up in an environment that gives them an opportunity that is unparalleled.
Super. I think we could keep going for some time this afternoon. It feels like we've only scratched the surface today. Maybe as a sort of a parting shot today, is there one final thing you might say to anyone considering their next career move in the professional services world that you might want to think about with UA in mind?
Goodness, I mean, hopefully anyone listening to this would realise that we have a lot of fun. We feel really passionate about it. I think maybe this might be really controversial. I don't like the comparison of old model, new model. Yes, we're a challenger brand, but we have a sort of very real sense of where we want to deliver value in the market. And I think there are many brilliant people who are in brilliant firms elsewhere. And there's so much room for everyone kind of to play and coexist. So I know brilliant people in competitor organizations, and if they are enjoying themselves and doing great work and delivering value to clients, then that's great. But for anyone who is intrigued about a different model or sees the need for change, then we're delighted. We're hoping to grow. So
I would say two things. For anyone looking at any stage in your career and looking at what you do next, you want to have fun and you want to learn. And you should look for places where you can get both of those things.
Yeah.
So if you look at us and think, I could learn there, come and talk to us. Hopefully we'll show you that it's for many people, not everybody, but for many people, they can have fun as well.
Super. Thanks, everyone. Speak to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.